I'm holding in my hand a box of 1991 Kayo boxing cards. This was sealed almost 35 years ago in 1991. It contains 36 packs, 14 cards each, so 512 cards total. And for this sealed box, I paid less than $50, including tax and shipping and everything. About 9 cents per card. To put that in context, when you buy unopened packs of sports cards today, you can expect to pay sometimes $1 a card or more, 10 times as much as these that were printed 35 years ago. So if you're thinking, wow, inflation sure is crazy. Nope, I bought this a week ago. If you're thinking, wow, how did you get such a great deal? Honestly, I didn't. You can find tons of these on eBay right now for about the same price. And if you're patient, you may even find it lower. Well, then I guess there aren't any good boxers in the set. Wrong. This set has 60 plus Hall of Famers. It's got rookie cards for Roy Jones Jr., Lennox Lewis, Arturo Gatti, Buster Douglas, James Toney. Really famous, beloved fighters. There are 2 hologram cards in here. It's got one of Muhammad Ali, and it's got 6 Chase autograph cards. But there's nothing in this set, when ungraded, that would fetch more than like $3. You compare that with the cards that came out in the Topps 2024 boxing set, where some of the rare ones are already going for hundreds, and there are even a few in the thousands at this point. So no, the reason that these cards are so cheap is because they were printed right at the peak of what is called the junk wax era. This was around late 80s, early 90s, and during this time, card collecting boomed. It became incredibly popular worldwide. And so card companies started printing massive amounts of cards to meet the demand. Some sets from that era may have literally had millions of copies printed, and there were tons of different sets coming out all the time. And this wasn't just limited to sports. I mean, you had superheroes, you had Ninja Turtles, rock stars. This is Randy Rhoads, who played guitar on Crazy Train, and everything in between. And of course, the first law of economics, supply and demand. If there's a massive supply of anything, it's not going to increase in price the way that something more rare can. And while this should have been obvious in hindsight, the fact that these cards never became valuable was surprising to a lot of people. It went against the expectations of that time period. I can't tell you how often I talk to someone my age who says, oh, if only my mom hadn't thrown in my baseball cards, I bet they'd be worth a fortune. Probably not. And there's still people who are hoarding these cards, thinking they'll be able to retire off of them. And who knows, I wish them luck. But I think there's a lot of lessons to learn from this, not just about collecting, but investing and life in general. So in this video, I wanted to go over my 5 key takeaways from the junk wax era. Takeaway number 1, price is not the same thing as value. These are my old Marvel cards from those days. I have a complete set. This is the 1992 Impel set, right? And these aren't worth that much. I've got all 5 of the hologram cards, these rare hologram cards, and even with that, it's not worth a whole lot on the open market, money-wise. But to me, this set is priceless. Every time I look at these, I get this wave of nostalgia and all these memories of trading them with other kids on the playground, and the bus, and then reading the backs and learning about the Marvel Universe when I was a kid. I wouldn't sell these for the world. And I bought this box, not as an investment, but because I'm fascinated by the history of boxing. It's a sport with a lot of characters and a lot of history, and I know I'm going to enjoy opening these and trying to collect the complete set and preserving some of that history with something tangible. Some people collect things for the fun of it. Some people collect things for investment, and sometimes people collect for both. And there's nothing wrong with any of those reasons, but it's important to know what your reasons are going in. All right, key takeaway number 2. popularity isn't everything. Oftentimes, the thing that everyone says is a great investment ends up being a terrible investment for the simple reason that everyone is investing in it. Demand is only one component in the first law of economics. Just because everyone was collecting this stuff, right, doesn't mean it's going to become valuable. There needs to be some level of scarcity, and scarcity itself can impact demand because people want something more when they think it's scarce. Owning that thing makes people feel special, but there needs to be more demand than there is supply for an investment to be successful. And this is true really of any kind of investing, whether you're talking about sports cards or commodities or shares of stock. Beware the so-called wisdom of crowds, because crowds are susceptible to groupthink. And when that happens, crowds are not very wise. Takeaway number 3. A long time horizon isn't everything. And this is another common misconception. The belief that if you hold anything long enough, it's going to become valuable. Now, it is true that as time goes on, collectibles get lost, they get destroyed, and they're not making them anymore, and that makes them more scarce, which can increase the value. But if that collectible was never that scarce to begin with, or there's not that many people that want that thing, or the amount of people that want that thing is dwindling, then it may never become valuable. These cards may never become valuable. Almost 35 years have gone by since they were printed, and most of the people that collected these cards to begin with, they either have already gotten a complete set or they stopped collecting them. Over time, it becomes less likely that new people are ever going to hear about these. And so even though the supply is dwindling, the demand might be dwindling too. 30 years from now, I'd say there's a good chance that these cards are still not valuable. Takeaway number 4. Conventional wisdom can be wrong. And this is a big one because investing often requires contrarian thinking. It's hard to believe that the conventional wisdom of the time was that these cards were going to become valuable. We all knew about the supply. These cards were everywhere, not just hobby shops. It was every pharmacy, every grocery store, every big box retailer was keeping these kinds of cards right in the impulse buy section of the store, right at the front, where they keep the candy and the soda and all that kind of stuff. And all the kids my age, or lots of kids my age, were asking their parents for a pack of cards every time they went to the store. But at the same time, there was this story going around. And it seemed like we were always hearing about somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody who found their old baseball cards in their mom's attic and then got to retire early. And that was a very powerful story. It was powerful enough that people ignored the ubiquity of these card packs. And they actually believed that the same thing would happen to these cards that happened to those cards. I would say one investing strategy that can sometimes be successful is to think about what is the crowd wrong about? Because in hindsight, it should have been obvious what would happen with the junk wax era. And if you can spot those kinds of things early, that can lead to some real investment potential. Takeaway number 5. Trends, even long-term trends, aren't guarantees. The future is uncertain. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And just because the cards in 1960 became valuable in 1990 does not mean that the cards from 1990 will be valuable in 2020. Now, don't get me wrong, some things never change, but some things do. And that's why, well, one, it's important to diversify, but also understand that times change. And times change in ways that no one can really predict. So anyway, all that said, I am very excited about this pack. I'm going to do a whole separate video about them. I want to see how many of these boxes does it take to complete the set, and at what point is it cheaper to buy singles than to buy another box. I'll show the stats, how many duplicates you get per box, what percentage of a complete set is in one box, how many, if any, of the chase cards I find for a box. I think those stats, I don't know, maybe they'll be helpful for anyone that's interested in card collecting, even if you're not interested in this particular set. So if any of that does sound interesting to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and so you catch that video. And if you do appreciate this video, please hit the like button. Leave me a comment with what you think about the junk wax era. All right, so thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.